ayayere uyo uko kuno apo pano mamuona kere nai.
Right, 21 September 2021, and I'm joined by Dr. Feddious Mutenheri. How are you, doctor?
I'm well, Gambakwe. How are you?
Fantastic, and I'm really enjoying myself after spending a full week in Zimbabwe. What have you been up to?
Well, for some of us, we haven't been home in that long time, but of course, looking forward to going. But yeah, I saw you broadcasting some few videos and stuff about home. What news do you have for us?
The only thing I can say is that Zimbabwe is on the rise. The Zimbabwe that you hear or see on social media is not the Zimbabwe that is actually there. And the only way you can see what I'm talking about is if you go there and see by yourself. So if you were to read on social media, most of the people that are talking, they don't even know what is going on in Zimbabwe.
But Gambakwe, you were in Harare. And remember, Harare is not Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is not Harare.
I was not in Harare only. I was all over. I went to the rural areas. We've got a project that we are starting somewhere. I traveled as far as Macheke. I went as far as deep in the rural areas where people live. There are guys who are building private schools, complexes in rural areas. There are farms, tobacco, wheat, deep in the rural areas. And what I've realized is that if you are lazy to think or lazy to work, you think politics is going to give you something. It won't. So someone somewhere is making a plan while the people in the diaspora are waiting for someone to help them. And if you look at the comments that we get here, so take for example this guy here, Erisha. He's in let's say he's in South Africa. He thinks the money that he makes, the 20,000 or the 30,000 that he earns, is equivalent to someone farming tobacco or farming wheat in Zimbabwe. That's not true. Someone in retail in Zimbabwe is making a lot more money, but people are doing it quietly. They are building, and not only that, the government is doing a lot at the same time.
Well, quite. I mean, Gambakwe, it's said, actually, what is said is that there was no need 41 years after the independence for us to be talking about all those things, because most Zimbabweans who you are talking about, who are in the diaspora, including yourself, are doing very well. You are doing very well where you are, and most Zimbabweans will tell you that we are doing very well. And these are people who could do it well if there was an environment, conducive environment in Zimbabwe. So I wouldn't really want to even cast aspersions to Zimbabweans that are in the diaspora, because these are people who have now gained experiences. But the bottom line is, why have we been here? What is the reason why they are out there? Those reasons which have caused most Zimbabweans to be scattered around the world are the ones that are supposed to be addressed. And probably the point that other viewers, some of your viewers who love you so much, actually who watch you, not necessarily love you, would be asking, really, is this not a public relations stand? Because, well, if Zimbabwe is good for business, open for business, and has the environment that is good for everybody to come back there, does it need people to come and publicize it? It's home. Home is always best, but when home has has become a thorn, then people will try to find ways to survive. However, you have your views, and you have seen that part of Zimbabwe you have gone to. But most people will probably, if you listen to them, will give you reasons why they are out there. There are some who are out because of political reasons, some, and a majority of them, because of the economic environment which is not allowing, and various other reasons. And this is what the government of the day should address. And it should not even need public relations officers to speak on their behalf. It should be their work that should speak for them. That's
Can
what
I tell you something, Doctor? I'm hearing you, and I don't want to prepare an answer for what you're saying. The only thing that I want you to understand is that everyone here who is watching us, when they die, their body is going to be carried on a plane or in a truck or whatever, and they'll be buried back in Zimbabwe. Young Zimbabweans are so stubborn. They don't understand the important things.
No.
Politics.
Wait, Gambakwe, before you go on, I think, Gambakwe, it would be unfair to start from that point. Most Zimbabweans, especially the young ones, and those who are not even in Zimbabwe, to accuse them of of being stubborn and of them being in Zimbabwe, it's a dishonest starting point. The starting point is, why were they there? And then probably then the government of the day should now start to show, without spokespersons telling it for them, to start to show that the situation has really changed. But
okay, Doc, you're starting to think like Hopewell. You're starting to think like Hopewell. Let me explain to you why.
Yeah.
You're thinking like Hopewell now. If you let me explain to you why. Everything that Hopewell says, the government should fix. This is what you're doing. In other countries, it's not the government that fixes everything. The government creates the environment. Young people innovate. Young Zimbabweans don't want to innovate. They want to blame the government. They want a person in Zimbabwe who will complain about potholes in a cul-de-sac where only their cars, 20 people who go there, they will complain about potholes. They never think, let's put together a few dollars every month, put security, fix our own road. Same with what you're saying now. Young Zimbabweans want the government to come to the diaspora, lift them here, give them money, plant their farm, and then harvest for them. And then they can collect the cash. That is the problem with young Zimbabweans, especially guys in the opposition, guys in MDC Alliance, the West kind of guys in terms of the way they think. And now we have guys like Mopo, who spread the message that everything must be done by government.
Wait, Gambakwe, wait. I think, anyway, besides Hopewell, I would have wanted him to answer for himself. I don't want us to attack him here. But what you are raising, Gambakwe, I want you to be honest. On this one, I have to call you out. No one is necessarily accusing government from the blues. Gambakwe, where you are starting from, that's why I'm saying probably you have become part of a PR stand of what is happening. The bottom line is that Zimbabweans are not saying we can't do for our country what we can do. Zimbabweans are not saying we can't build the roads. Zimbabweans are not saying, and particularly the young ones, are not saying we are not able to do those things. It is the environment. But let's start from here. The government itself has decided upon itself to be in business. I mean, when we were doing the economics in economics 101, we were told government has no business in business. But today, the whole command system of business in Zimbabwe, talk of the transport system that you talk about, talk of the agriculture, talk of everything. It is government itself that has put its huge hand into what entrepreneurs should be doing, into what it could be encouraging private sector to do, private sector like yourself. We shouldn't, government should create an environment, conducive environment for people who want to do business to do business. But once government starts to hire people, probably like yourself, to speak for it, that Zimbabweans do not want to do things, then it's wrong. Zimbabwe should simply create, the government should simply create an environment that Zimbabweans can do business. Everybody is willing to come. But let's deal with the environment first. We know all what you are talking about is not news to Zimbabwe. It's not news to entrepreneurs. It's not news. In fact, to some people who were entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe before they went out of the country, but they know that the system right there is such that when you have built an empire, when you have built an industry, then it is destroyed. So Gambakwe, be honest, and let's deal with the real elephant in the room. It is because government has gone command, so everything is commanded, and that is not an MDC mantra. That is not an MDC mantra. It's a reality on the ground, which if it can be addressed, then all Zimbabweans are happy.
Yeah. So, Doc, let me explain something to you. I'm not paid by anybody. Myself, using this platform, I have managed to bring together a number of Zimbabweans, over 100, and we're going to be investing in Zimbabwe. So far, over the past 4 months, we've raised over R1 million. Nothing to do with the government. No one paid me. We paid our own way for me to go to Harare. I stayed at the cost of our group. And every month I'll be going to Zimbabwe. It's got nothing to do with government. Do not expect the government to be paying people for publicity stunts. There are Chinese who want to invest in Zimbabwe. I was with them at the hotel. They are South Africans. You can stay here as Zimbabweans and complain. Don't think the other countries are going to stop. Things are going to be moving. All I'm trying to do is to open the eyes of the young Zimbabweans. The only country we've got is Zimbabwe. You can either go there on your feet or you're going to go in a box. All of you here, the guys who are watching, you're going to go to Zimbabwe. But there are two ways. When you're dead, we all contribute monies, we'll send you, we'll bury you. Or you can do it now when you're alive. Stand up with your own 2 feet, you go to Zimbabwe and you do what you need to do.
Gambakwe,
but the comfort is too much.
That is an alarmist. Kind of statement which does not work with Zimbabweans. You know what, Gambakwe? It's not people's mouths that are going to convince the people out there who are in the diaspora, who have come out of Zimbabwe for various reasons, that will cause them to come. In fact, what you are saying scares Zimbabweans the most. What can give the comfort to an ordinary Zimbabwean who wants to be back home is when, like I've told you, the environment has calmed itself down. When the government starts to do things, when it says Zimbabwe is open for business, like you are talking about, yes, it's open for the Chinese. It's the Chinese who are displacing people in places like Uzumba. We have seen in various places, and they are benefiting. You are very right about that. It is, and where is government when that is happening? It is the same government which is using colonial laws, or not using them actually, or at least arguing using those laws that it allows them to let those people take those spaces. Gambakwe, it is, Zimbabweans are not stupid. They are the most learned people, and I can tell you today that they don't even need a rocket scientist to come and tell them about Zimbabwe. All that is needed is the government of the day should make the conditions right. Its pronouncements on policies should be the signpost to say, hey, the way to go is to Zimbabwe. But right now, Gambakwe, as long as you say such things, they know, people out there, they know that the most thing that an ordinary Zimbabwe fear most ask Professor Jonathan Moyo is then to go back home to Zimbabwe as a corpse. No one wants that. Everyone wants to have the right to do business or even to fail while they are in their own country. That's what they want. So let's not lecture the Zimbabweans about that, Gambakwe. Probably let's get to the topic of the day. But you will have an opportunity to speak about Zimbabwe. Your view, I respect it. And what you saw in the spaces you went, I think is something we would want to hear, but expect that people will ask you questions and real questions about, really, do you think Zimbabwe is ready? I don't think so.
Okay, let me give you a final statement. The problem we have in Zimbabwe is the people that have got platforms. For example, if I want to go back to the example of Hope Ochimon, he never says anything positive about Zimbabwe, and yet he lives in Zimbabwe. He will never show you a road that is being constructed. He will never show you the airport that is being constructed. He will never show you foreign visitors coming. Some of them that come to visit him, he will never show you the farms, the new constructions that are taking place. So if you live in the diaspora, what you see is what he's telling you. Then we go to people like Chamisa. Chamisa is going to tell you that he's going to develop Zimbabwe and make it heaven on earth. If you go to Chamisa's rural home, it's embarrassing. He's got a round kitchen at his home. He doesn't even have a fence at his house. This is the guy that is telling you that he's going to urbanize the rural areas. The truth is that young Zimbabweans in the diaspora and young Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe, they have to wake up. These guys have got nothing to offer except to talk negative and to make you think the government must do things for you. That's not how things work.
Okay. Also, I mean, I think you would have done right to let me respond to your last statement before we get into our topic. I think
correct. Let's go.
When you talk about Hopewell and what he says, that's the beauty of democracy. Listen, Kambakwe, if we want to be a democratic state, what Hopewell Chingono is doing, I think, is very perfect. It's right, because he's pointing out to government what areas that they need to fix. And they must not fixate themselves on whether what he's saying is positive or not. He's just but one Zimbabwean. Anyway, it's just Hopewell. There are many journalists out there. There are many. It's good that he has created a platform for himself where a number of people listen to him. So let's not accuse him for that. What you are doing, you are not wrong. You are giving views about what you think, but the question is, are you being honest as well? Are you being holistic in your view about Zimbabwe? And let's not muzzle Zimbabweans from speaking against things that they see out there which are not right, and think that if they speak against those, they are being negative. They are not being negative. Any government which is serious, a government of the day, should then listen to all voices, particularly those voices which tell them what is not right. And I dare say such a government should then not listen to rent seekers and people who want to tell them that they are white when they clearly have got a black scar everywhere. I mean, that they are clean, and yet they've got a black scar everywhere in their face. So Gambakwe, it's your view versus other people's views, and I would have wanted to Opal to speak for himself, but let's go to the question of the day.
I won't even waste my time talking to Opal. I'm telling you, I'm done with that guy. Okay, let's go to Peter. Peter is saying, Gambakwe, you're stupid. Is your yard fenced? If you go to my rural home, I have a stone wall, not a fence. I built, my yard is quite small. My mom, when she passed away, she left us a yard which is like 500 by 500. I built a stone wall, not a fence. So don't even ask me about a fence. Chamisa is gonna do nothing for you because
no,
he still has
but,
a round heart.
But Gambakwe, that is not fair. Let me tell you.
I brought up the question.
No, but let me tell you also, just finishing on that part, it's unfair on Chamisa even, whether he's, you are saying his home doesn't have a fence. Let me tell you what we know about our rural homesteads, and which Zimbabwe is, I mean, the government in Zimbabwe over the past 41 years has made us to believe our rural homes, the beauty of them is their ruralness. The ruralness being the fact that you come to a round kitchen hut. It's not an urban area, and it's actually the Zimbabwean government that has promoted that. Where we are out here, rural areas are more like urban areas. In fact, for some teachers of geography, if you ask them when they teach the aspect of rural areas and urban areas, they get confused because in societies that have advanced, rural areas look more like what we call urban areas in Zimbabwe. So for Chamisa, in fact, one thing that I can agree with him, or one thing I can identify with him, is that when I see his rural home, I see a real past of ours, a real environment of the rural homes in which we grew up. And actually we have a euphoric and nostalgic view of those kind of environments. So I don't even want us to even start to accuse him. But more importantly, a better leader is such as him, who lives an ordinary life, like an ordinary Zimbabwean. And I don't want to insult Bo Gogo, Bo Kulu in the rural homes with round huts, which they call their home, and insult them to think that what they have is lesser of homes. No, it is what this government has promoted over the past 41 years. Without rural electrification, without rural development, rural industrialization, which could have turned around these spaces, we still have growth points which were set up at the time Smith left, and they still are growth points. Growth points, the idea was those points were supposed to grow into towns and cities. But up to today, if you go to Jerera, if you go to Mpandawana, if you go to any other growth point, which one has grown into a big town or city? And surely Gambakwe, that is not to be blamed on Chamisa. Chamisa is just but one of the many Zimbabweans who live in those conditions, who is agitating for a leap, a great leap from what ZANU-PF has stagnated us in for the past 41 years into a better future in which these growth points, these rural spaces become modernized. So I think let's leave it there for now. I think it's a huge discussion for another day. And your question today is Chamisa slow to make important decisions?
Yes, let's start with the name CCC. It was registered yesterday, or there was a letter which went out that it was registered by another person for contesting in 2023. What do you think is happening there?
Honestly, I'm not amused. I'm sure many other political analysts will not be amused by that. The only thing that one can point out is that, look, if the government of the day has anything to do with it, it is exactly what the people today are fighting for, are fighting against: a dishonest system which is not which only encourages a moral fabric which is totally dead. That instead of promoting a democratic space in which people who have got their parties and stuff like that can carry out their activities free without spooks and shady people coming to play chess against people's projects. In fact, the fact MDC Alliance is still MDC Alliance as we know it, as far as I know. Not even Chamisa or any senior official in the MDC has proclaimed on a change of name, which is a topic we had some few days ago. And no one has said that we are changing. And for us to have this letter, which we have seen, I think it said, I saw it on Jamanda's TL, and I was wondering what are they up to? Let's wait for the MDC, which for the past 1 year under such pressure have been asked to change their name, and they have only proclaimed that they are picking up a philosophy of a convergence, of a consensus, and then we have someone coming up to say, I'm registering CCC. It's for me, it's a laughable, very laughable a move by whoever is behind it. But as far as we know right now, there is the MDC Alliance under Nelson Chamisa and his leadership, which actually in recent days I've seen quite a resurgence in terms of gatherings, in terms of numbers, and you can see the euphoria with that people have when they go to these meetings. And so I think this is a non-issue which is not even worth discussing today.
Okay, can I tell you what I think, Doctor?
Yes.
This party, in my view, was registered by Nelson Chamisa. This CCC, the new one. And you saw the way that Jonathan Moyo and Wopo Chingono reacted. Chamisa did this to embarrass Chingono because he doesn't like him at all. So when Chingono responded by saying Chamisa doesn't have a strategy, I think you saw that yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
You saw that, that statement from Chingono, right?
No,
okay,
I didn't.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring it up after a while. Chingono said having numbers without a strategy is useless. Previously, a few weeks back, Jonathan Moyo said Chamisa should register CCC as a political party. So Chamisa, knowing him the way I do, he's annoyed with these two guys. And he registered this party to see how they're going to respond. And now they've exposed themselves where they stand. So this is not the government. If you look at the letter, look at the address on the letter. Did you see that address?
Gambakwe, I wish some of your pronouncements are based on fact. Because right now, I think the two of us today, and courtesy of you, are going to put up another conspiracy theory to this. But whatever you are saying, go ahead. I want you to go ahead and hear this.
It's a parody. It's not a letter. It's not a real thing. Because if you write ZEC a letter on the 8th of September, they don't wait until the 20th of September to respond to you. Then you write ZEC again another letter to say further to our letter. I don't know if you understand. This letter is from Chamisa, and he's trying, look at this, what I'm displaying now. This is the first tweet by Jonathan Moyo.
Yes, I've seen this.
He wrote this on the 1st of September. And then this was the letter, and this is how Chingono responded. If you look at Chingono, he said, Jonathan Moyo warned citizens and the MDCA against complacency and also the need to register CCC. Whilst many were busy insulting Jonathan Moyo, that is what the regime was busy doing. Do you now understand that numbers are meaningless without strategy? Chamisa is a master strategist. He doesn't want anyone who takes attention from him. With this, what he has done now, he has managed to outmaneuver these two guys. They are wrong, totally wrong on this, because there is no way Zek would wait and not respond. If a party writes to Zek responds and says you are registered.
Look, Gambakwe, honestly, your viewers are, I think you have got quite a number of viewers who use their brain. Why do we have to talk about Chingono when we are referring to the MDC alliance? Who is Jonathan Moyo when we talk about MDC alliance? I mean, I've always told you that I'm not their spokesperson, but I hate to be part and parcel of conspiracy theories which are not based on what is on the ground. Jonathan Moyo is not an official of the MDC alliance. He is not. Walpole Chingono is not an official of the MDC alliance. As far as we know, the MDC alliance has got its spokesperson, and that spokesperson, comes out with official statements of what the MDC alliance is planning or what it has done. And today we can sit here and look at people like Jonathan Moyo who have been chased out of the country, and for which, if he wants to be part of the MDC alliance or of any broader alliance, then he has to come out, and people must not think or conjure ideas as to what he is thinking about when he's talking about the citizen convergence for change. Right now we are talking about them, yet they are not officials. They are not at all the official voice of the MDC alliance. Who are they? Why are they important in all this if they are not part of a whole system that has been trying to destabilize a real alternative in the movement for democratic change? So I think such a discussion, and even discussing that Chamisa doesn't have a strategy, it's out of the question, totally out of the question. I thought probably we'll talk about some
Give me a chance,
substantive.
Give me a chance.
Yes.
Let me tell you how Chamisa operates. And this is not a question, so I need to give this to you. Chamisa does not want anyone who's got attention around him. So when he employed Feddious Mutenheri into the MDC alliance, the intention was to neutralize her. She was very powerful. Now she says nothing. When she goes in the press conference, he starves her of information. Go to any press conference that Mutenheri has spoken at. She has not said anything of value. Similarly, he tried to swallow Pastor Ivan, but Pastor Ivan was smart and he saw it. He tried to swallow Dr. Nkosana Moyo, and now he's trying to swallow other people, other political parties. Chamisa does not operate in a place where he's got equals. He's always at the top. Look at Tendai Biti. Tendai Biti is running around like a headless chicken. Look at Job Scala. No. I am telling you, Chamisa operates in that manner. He's always the guy at the top.
In fact, listen, Gambakwe. When people say this about Chamisa, I was watching one of his interviews by some social media platform. I mean, he is such a down-to-earth man. You are giving him so much. I'm sure wherever he is, if he could listen to this, he should be happy that he's given such supernatural, omnipotent, omniscient, godlike kind of qualities that you give to him. Look, Tendai Biti is a respectable person, very knowledgeable. In fact, our country is deprived of a better finance person. I mean, people around Nelson Chamisa, like Feddious Mutenheri, a very brilliant lawyer, a very brilliant woman who is eloquent and who puts across issues in a very, very straightforward manner. And you want to think that all of them are just operating under a shadow of Nelson Chamisa. Nelson Chamisa who do not even have instruments of coercive power, and he can do such a thing. It's amazing that Gambakwe, you can, I mean, even you, I respect you. don't fall to those laws. I mean, that is a law. You know, here is a party of people
Doc,
that are gasping for space to operate in an. Did you see what was happening in South Africa during the registration of electoral? I was actually electoral. I mean, elections. I mean, what you call them, local elections there. I was so impressed to see the EFF, to see the ANC, to see the DA. I mean, each and every one of them having a stall to register together there with, I mean, it's a competition to say who can be the better CEO of our country. Now, look at what we have descended to be, even us ourselves. We're having this conversation to talk about Chamisa, who is miles and miles away from state power. And we are talking about this. He is not. Look, he is just
okay,
a person.
don't give me a chance. Give me a chance because the conversation is running away from us.
Okay.
I want you to focus on the nature of Chamisa because this is where you need to understand how he operates. Chamisa has not changed the name. He's held on to the name MDC Alliance. He has refused to recognize the Supreme Court ruling on the ownership of the MDC. He has refused to have a Congress. He has refused to recognize the presidential elections of 2018. The reason is that Chamisa does not operate through the structures of the MDC, even the MDC Alliance. Mutenheri finds out things after they happen. BT finds out things after they happen. Scala finds out things after they happen. That's why you see that MDC does not have an office. Chamisa is purposely doing that.
Gambakwe, you know what? I don't want you to pass comments and without verifying them, because when you say those statements, and I want to sit here and be able to give you a response. When you say BT finds out when things have happened, Mutenheri finds out, please, I mean, do the minimum journalistic tenets of providing facts, of providing
let me provide
something that is tangible. Because when you say that, then it becomes I don't want to be like a battle. Let's have
let me provide you facts.
Please.
Let me provide you facts.
Yes.
Tendai Biti put out a voice note 2 months ago. We played it here. Yes. Where he was saying that let's change the name of the party to MDC Chamisa.
No. Tendai Biti said, in my opinion. That was his opinion. And remember, whether you are a party functionary, you also have an opinion. That's democracy. And he said, in fact, in what he was saying, he was trying to put away this debate about the name. He was trying to do away with it. He was trying to kill that debate because it was a sideshow. I mean, stopping people from focusing on real policy issues.
Okay, so that you agree that it happened?
No,
3 weeks ago. Okay, 3 weeks ago, Fadzayi Mutenheri said the name MDC Chamisa is still on the table. We played it here.
No, she didn't.
She did. She was having it. I'll bring it for you. I'm summarizing for you. She said so. The MDC Chamisa name is still on the table. However,
I totally don't agree with you, Gambakwe. Gambakwe, today, I think in future, just come with, you are just speaking of position. Listen, and I remember when I responded to you that, because our topic, if I remember well, was that, is there a division between BT and Chamisa on the name? And I had told you that BT is as a political, I mean, that one is a political worker. He was trying to kill that debate because it had nothing, and he was trying to show people that we can wake up and call this movement for democratic change Chamisa. And I told you that Mutenheri is the spokesperson, and she speaks like a spokesperson, that we have to go through processes before we can come out with a name. And those two positions were not different at all, and they do not mean that they are speaking against what Chamisa knows or what he is doing. They were.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying she mentioned in her own words that the name MDC Chamisa is still on the table. It can still be used in 2023.
Yes.
However, knowing Chamisa as I do, he's got advisors who he listens to, who are outside the party structures. And these
Then
are the people that have...
I'm not going to discuss the, because you are saying knowing Chamisa the way I do. It's what you Gambakwe.
I know them because remember I did a lot of campaigning for MDC in the lead up to the 2018 elections. So I'm talking what I know. I'm not talking both BT and Mutenheri were not there during the time when we were campaigning for Chamisa. That's why I'm saying to you, when Chamisa brings in people into MDC Alliance, it's to neutralize them. That's why you see Dr. Nkosazana Moyo will never go into MDC Alliance. Jonathan Moyo will never become a member of MDC Alliance. Hopo Chingon will never do it. The reason is they know Chamisa and how he operates. He is...
Okay, who are they?
The way he operates,
who is Hopo Chingono? Who is Jonathan Moyo? Who is... They are just, you know what? The movement for democratic change, whatever it has achieved for the past 22 years, Hopo Chingono was not there. He was still working with the current government. Jonathan Moyo, in fact, was one of the most dangerous ministers of the time when the same MDC you are talking about was trying to fight for space, a democratic space. You talk of Nkosazana Moyo. He was a minister, and even he had to run away when he was made a minister, probably few months into his office. Who are they? Why are we talking about them? The MDC, which 22 years ago was alive, is still alive today under Chamisa, and I'm saying it is on a resurgence. These three people you are talking about should be given equal treatment. If they want to join the movement for democracy, they go to the ward. They buy whatever cards if they have to. But I thought, probably you know what I don't know, I thought these were just analysts, and we treat them like that. When we take out our gloves to attack them, we attack them like they are just analysts who are missing the point. But if we are going to discuss here and talk about them as if they were functionaries or officials of the MDC, or people who would make or break the MDC, then our discussion here is not even supposed to go on. These are people who are not part and parcel of the movement for democratic change. As far as I know, that right now there is Ngapinde Hakem Komana, which for all of us, we can't resist it. Everyone, I mean, you ask anybody in the rural area, even in Harare where you are. Today I saw, I was actually very shocked when I saw Nick Mangwana. Nick Mangwana apparently, I think is some spokesperson, I mean, very uninspiring. He was saying, which means they realize that Chamisa now, and the very people you are trying to say, do not consult with him, is coming out. Is coming out.
Okay.
And I hope...
I think, Doctor, let me expand a bit.
Okay.
Because I think you're not seeing the point that I'm trying to make.
And the
reason why opposition politics is in chaos in Zimbabwe at the moment is because of Chamisa. I want to explain to you why. When Morgan Tsvangirai was alive, he wanted to do a coalition under what was called NERA. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember it very well.
He called a lot of people, including Mam Juru. At that time, I was doing communications work for Zimbabwe People First. And there were other people that were called in. However, Chamisa knew that if these people came into NERA, there was going to be a problem. He was not going to rise to the top. So he started engineering what he's doing now. He started engineering. And this is a game of one. This is why I'm telling you this. This is a game of one. That's why you don't see anything happening in the opposition. Because when Mam Juru came in, she demanded the vice presidency of the opposition formation. And the speech that Chamisa gave in Chitungwiza that week, he went crazy on her and said and so on. You can go and look for it on YouTube. It's there. That is the problem we have in the current setup. He approached right now Dr. Nkosana Moyo. He approached Noah Manyika. All these people, he's approaching them, but with one condition, that they will take lower positions, even lower than BT and Washman Ngube. Washman Ngube himself had to be begged back into the MDC alliance after he left this past month. I showed you evidence of this thing. So the point I'm trying to make is what is happening now is not by accident, especially the registration of this CCC. This is something done by people aligned to Chamisa and not by people aligned to the government.
Well, listen, Gambakwe, I would wish that when we have such discussions and when you bring out these like these statements that you bring out, you are factual, but I just think that it feeds into a whole conspiracy theory. Let me just make a few things clear. That Nelson Chamisa is the president of the Movement for Democratic Alliance. And as a president, yes, he is at the top. And yes, he is the only gentleman who got more than 2 million votes at 2018. And yes, he has got his deputies who have been with him since 2018. And yes, he is advocating for an alliance. And obviously, any right-thinking Zimbabwean or political party, any right-thinking, of course, including that there would be democratic processes, would know that whatever alliance comes will be headed by Nelson Chamisa. There is no doubt he is the game in town. He is the very popular opposition. And these are the people who are trying to gain whatever popularity by opposing him, or by who is Nkosana Moyo anyway? What did he get at the last election? Who is he? Jonathan Moyo. I put out a tweet as well myself about Jonathan Moyo, but I realized that later that probably we overrate him. That sometimes, yes, he is one person that people want to listen to when he speaks, but he's a person that people hate. They hate him because when he was in power himself, when he was working for the government of the day, he, for all intents and purposes, is the only other person that people will remember as the most dangerous politician, as the most dictatorial. In fact, he was the worst enabler of the Robert Mugabe regime, Jonathan Moyo. That Jonathan Moyo you talk about. So whatever is available for him is that people, in fact, the sympathy that people have for Jonathan Moyo is that if only he can repent and be part of this opposition, then he has relevance. Otherwise, as long as he stays within the shadows and tries to cause confusion, he will pale into insignificance. And I can assure you today that when Zimbabweans want to punish those politicians who are dishonest, they do it with such, a verve that, this Jonathan Moyo you are talking about, we will never talk about him. If ever he wants to have relevance, the only thing he can do is to be humble. And the humbleness he needs is he should never cause confusion in an already battered opposition, but which still has that power to cause havoc within the corridors of power. So Jonathan Moyo, let's not talk about him. Who is he anyway? I want to ask, today I dare ask, who is Jonathan Moyo? Unless today he comes out in the open and say, I am joining the Movement for Democratic Alliance, and I am sorry to Zimbabweans for what I have done for the past how many years, since 2000. And then people can look at him and say, yes, he is someone that Chamisa has to work with. Chamisa, if ever what you are saying is true, let me assume that what you are saying is true. He is very right to make sure that he doesn't at all overshadow him. Because He is a dishonest politician as far as we know. If he has changed, thank God. He still leads what is called the G40. Let the G40 and Jonathan Moyo come out in the open and say, we are going to support the movement for democratic change without any conditions, without any ask for positions in that party. Same applies to Nkosana Moyo. Same applies to any insignificant politician you talk about. But the fact that I know today is that there is one politician with a political party that has been under attack for the past 2.5 years, and that is Nelson Chamisa. And for crying out loud, let's give him some kudos. And let's talk about a loser called Douglas Monzora, who today is an insignificant player in the politics of Zimbabwe because he is a creation, a total creation. And what happened between 1978 and 1980 is totally happening today, as I said in another time, when the Zimbabwe Rhodesia government was formed under Muzorewa, and people did not like it because they wanted Robert Mugabe and ZANU-PF at that time, because they were the real representative of the people. And Douglas Monzora today, we don't even talk about him. Yet, when we talk about the funds that are supposed to go to MDC, Chamisa, nothing happens. I mean, he is given. When we talk about parliamentarians who are supposed to represent people, who do we talk about? We talk about Monzora, who is recalling those people who were. So, please, for a serious conversation, Nelson Chamisa today is one person that has stood for democracy in Zimbabwe. Barring his weaknesses, he is a human being, just like everybody. But as far as we know today, he has shown the Zimbabwean spirit of resilience under attack. And these people you talk about, Feddious Mutenheri, Tendai Biti, Welshman Ncube, and the rest of the leadership, I think this is the time to say, for once, we must thank them because we have seen them rally behind one leader under attack. Otherwise, today we'll be talking of various splits. So please, let's support. If we want democracy in Zimbabwe and we are not going for a one-party state, let's give kudos. Let's support these people and encourage democracy. Because a Zimbabwe with one party, it's not a desirable Zimbabwe. So if Chamisa would listen today, Tendai Biti, Mutenheri, I would say what you are doing, you are the heroes of Zimbabwe, because under such attack you are able to stand for what you stand for. And of course, what we are talking about, these infiltrations by whoever, or whether these people don't know what we are talking about, this Womoyo, Nkosana, but Nelson Chamisa and his team, they are scared of infiltration as well. They know that it is a reality that they can be infiltrated. So if they refuse an alliance, we have to understand them. But I know that somewhere, somehow, they will find each other. Gambakwe.
Okay,
today,
Doctor, I think we've talked for long enough, but let us wrap this up.
Yes.
Why would the government of Zimbabwe register CCC?
I didn't say they registered it, but I am only saying it is synonymous with what the Mugabe regime would do to try and preempt. But I am not saying they are the ones. If they are not the ones, then I mean, it's tough luck for them. But whatever is about to happen, what we know is that this CCC, as far as I know, it's an idea. It's a rallying point to say, let's have consensus, Zimbabweans. Let's have consensus. And that consensus, some people are hijacking it as a political party, and I wouldn't know. So if it's not the government, I mean, if the government has no hand in it, let's not even discuss it as a government thing. But
the only thing I want you to know, Doc, is that I have spent a lot of time around guys in the MDC. They cannot create a system. Mark my word, keep this in a diary. Chamisa cannot create a system. Keep that statement somewhere. The only thing that Chamisa knows is to consolidate power. If you want to know something that Chamisa is good at, is being the one on top.
But
If there's anyone,
Gambakwe, today I think you are going off the mark. What power is he consolidating? Chamisa doesn't have any power. Chamisa, all he has is the love from the people. The little I've seen videos on Facebook of Vogogo crying for Chamisa. I've seen young people crying for Chamisa. I've seen academics crying for Chamisa. I've seen professionals saying Chamisa is the real deal. What consolidation of power? What power does he have if it's
okay,
not
let me explain
the
to
love
you.
that people
I want to explain to you.
Those who
Let me explain,
consolidate
doctor.
power are those who have got the instruments of coercive power. That's what you can talk about.
Okay, I've just explained to you about NERA, right?
Yes.
Now I want to take you to an idea called the generational consensus.
Yes.
It was started by young guys in Harare. Chamisa crushed generational consensus. They came to me and told me that Chamisa's people crushed generational consensus. If you look at generational consensus, it's not there anymore because the guys were getting too powerful within the MDC. This is similar to the idea of CCC now, which is happening now. This is to crush the guys who are coming up with this slogan because he didn't originate it. CCC was originated by Jonathan Moore, if you didn't know.
Look,
he's the one who originated this idea
Gambakwe,
of CCC.
Gambakwe,
Yeah.
Gambakwe, that's why I'm saying today, I think you are at the height of throwing conspiracies. In fact, I think today you woke up with so many conspiracies. Your conspiracies today I can't even stomach them. Now you are giving credence to generational consensus. Cannot be owned by 2, 3, or 4 people. It is an idea. Wherever it is coming from, Chamisa is a 40-year-old plus. I mean, 43 years now. It's an idea. So when you say generational consensus, it was about him as a leader and others who were young. Same applies in ZANU-PF. They had their own opposite called the G40, which simply was an idea of the time for young people to rule. And this idea of the CCC, again, it's just an idea. Why do we credit Jonathan Moyo for everything that happens? Why didn't he? You see what, Gambaku? Please, today, save me with these conspiracies. But the idea is that, to answer your question directly, Chamisa is very, very on course to make important decisions. And together with the people of Zimbabwe who support him, I'm sure he's going to bring real competition in the 2023 election, which, and I underline, if it is free and fair, there is no doubt that the time for the old to go has come, and the time for the new to come in has come under the leadership of the same Nelson Chamisa. And that Nelson Chamisa has been quiet under attack and has shown such maturity. I think it should be applauded. This young man, who is so eloquent, could have been out there insulting, but he has kept quiet and he has shown us that under such a barrage of attack from those with power, he can be quiet. Remember, there is a danger that those who fight a struggle like this one can themselves be affected and become, when they get into power, like what they were fighting against. The same thing that happened to ZANU-PF. It is because they fought a ruthless Smith regime that when they got into power, they are just like the Smith regime today. They are like just the same as the same regime that they were fighting. And today, I dare say to Nelson Chamisa, what you are showing us today is that you can be different from those you are fighting against. And I hope that when he takes power and come 2023, he will be so different from the very people that he's fighting against. So I think that is the topic that we should talk about. We should never talk about what he is not doing. This young man has done a lot, and young people out there should rally around Nelson Chamisa and his team. And for once in our lifetime as young Zimbabweans, let's taste a new dispensation, a proper new dispensation. I think this phrase has now been poisoned, because a new dispensation is where people have rights. What you were talking about when we started this discussion, people can invest in Zimbabwe without looking over their shoulders who is following me or who is going to destroy, where the government of the day will create an environment conducive for real business, where most skilled people, you talk of doctors, the best in the world, you talk of technicians, the best in the world, you talk of any skilled person who is out there, they can come back to Zimbabwe and rebuild that country and make it a first world country. And I know that if Nelson Chamisa would win 2023, which is going to, that Zimbabwe is going to be a reality. It is going to be a reality. And Zimbabwe today, I tell you, I dare say today I must be the leader of this conversation and tell you that I think our conversation today is done. But well,
yeah, but we didn't summarize,
friend,
Doctor. We didn't summarize.
Yes.
Chamisa has not made a decision on party name, on dialogue, on offices. He's not made a decision on a opposition coalition. He has not made decisions on those. So this is why I'm saying he's slow to make decisions. The elections are just about to come.
What decisions? The MDC alliance is there. What decision does he have to make?
That's what I'm saying. We've had this conversation, Doc. We've had that conversation on MDC alliance. That name is not available.
It is.
The MDC alliance name is not available. That's being slow.
It is available. It is available because they are the MDC alliance.
So you think they will contest under MDC alliance?
Yes. But
okay.
Once again, I should say, when the time comes, if there is a need to make a twitch, it will be made and there will be no problem. So the discussion about the name, unless an MDC official comes here or any other platform and says, yes, we are changing, any other thing is just mere speculation. And people out there should stop this feeding into this debate that MDC Alliance is supposed to change name. The MDC Alliance Party, is not what Douglas Monzora is. Douglas Monzora is just throwing dust in the air. He knows that if he is talking about MDC Alliance, then it's what is called MDC Alliance. But 2018, what was registered was what was called MDC Alliance Party. So the battle for MDC, Harvest House, and blah, blah, blah was centered on the MDC Alliance, in which MDCT was a part. That's why they are there. So the MDC Alliance Party exists and is there. Douglas Monzora left it.
That's why I'm saying, Doc, that's why I'm saying we can have this conversation for a whole day. Chamisa is a lawyer, right? So he knows the truth. All I'm saying to you is we have reached the critical point. Chamisa is starting to show his hand. And in my view, the registration of the name CCC, I put that squarely on Chamisa's team. He's got a secret team that do these kind of things.
You don't make sense.
Idea.
Come back with. I think
let me summarize. The idea is to embarrass. The idea is to embarrass Jonathan Moyo and Hope Ochimon and expose them.
That's, you know what? Your conspiracy today will not work. Whether remember, I want you to remember that in one of our discussion about Jonathan Moyo, we once discussed Jonathan Moyo, the person, and then I put Jonathan Moyo into a frame, and I told you that we can look at Jonathan Moyo in various frames. And in that, I remember I mentioned to you that I foresee a grand coalition, a grand alliance being formed. But I think you, Gambakwe, because you also have a tendency of throwing around conspiracies, there is something you are sensing, and you are not going to tell me today. You will tell me probably some other time. stop trying to create a fight between Jonathan Moyo, Opo Shingono, and Nelson Chamisa unless themselves have come out in the open to say, hey, there is a war between us. Gambakwe, I want you to view things this way. Jonathan Moyo has an opportunity to join this alliance, and he is free to join this alliance, same as Hopewell, same as Nkosana. But do not blame Nelson Chamisa on anything. Nelson Chamisa is the leader of the MDC Alliance Party, which garnered more than 2 million votes and is raring to go. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Anything we talk about is trash. Anything we talk about is hogwash. Nelson Chamisa is the game in town. And I want to retain your words. Mark my words today. He is the game in town. Jonathan Moyo knows very well that if he has a chance to come back to Zimbabwe, that is his route. Except if he's playing some games, but that is his route. When there is a new Zimbabwe in which he can walk as a free man, with a free mind, with a free speech, with a free opinion on the government of the day, which everyone wants. Because today, people, after talking, they look over their shoulders to see if they will be alive the next day. So, Gambakwe, any other discussion is off the table today.
Okay. Doc, I think we've talked for more than an hour.
Yes.
And let us give you an opportunity to say your last word before we close.
Well, my last words are that, Gambakwe, no, actually, I was happy to see you in Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe is our, I mean, some of us, we go there regularly. And challenges still exist. And these challenges could be solved better if our society is opened to its citizens to be free. I'm sure there is that debate as to which starts, development or democracy. But today I want to say, once we open our society for people to participate, once we open our society to be inclusive, once we start to view our Zimbabweans as part and parcel of the development trajectory of our country and not view them with political lenses, then we will achieve the development that we want. Once we start to view that today, the young person of today is a sharp young person, very sharp, that their ideas have overtaken the geriatrics that run the current economy, then we will realize that we need this diversity, and this diversity is what will cause Zimbabwe to grow. This diversity is what will usher Zimbabwe into a future that we all desire. But once, if ever, we stick to propaganda and try to show little corners in which we think Zimbabwe is based on, then we are dishonest. We want to see an inclusive development of Zimbabwe, where not only one road that has been constructed means that the whole of Zimbabwe is being developed. No, not when we only see one building being constructed and we want to equalize that to Zimbabwe being developed. No, real development will be seen when it happens. It will be talked about by people from Chiendambuya. It will be talked about by people in Kamativi. It will be talked about by people in Binga, in Nkai, in Murinye there. They will talk about it. But as long as it is managed development, it would only be for purposes of propaganda. And today, I dare say, Gambakwe, that we really need to open our society to democracy so that people can participate. And as we look forward to the elections, people should be allowed to vote. And whatever outcome is there, people should accept it. And so that we can start to look at development without looking at politics, which has totally affected Zimbabwe for the past 41 years, if you like. Thank you very much, Kambakwe, for your time today.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And I really enjoy talking to you every Tuesday. And as I said before, the invitation is open. People like Mutenheri, they are embarrassed to come here because they will have nothing to say when I start firing questions at them. So I also called Wende the other day, and they can't come because they don't know what Chamisa is thinking and what he's doing, which is sad. But anyway, let us bring this to an end, Doc. And thank you very much.
You and controversy are like this. Makadayo.
Uyo uko kuno abo bano